The Bill Clark Show, presented by Dr. Pepper. And now, Coach Bill Clark.
Welcome in. It's the Coach Bill Clark Show, presented by Buffalo Rock Dr. Pepper. Coach, it's hard to believe that Week 12 is already in the books, close to being done for the regular season. Wild.
I know it. It's time flies when we're having fun and get to watch great games, and it's here. But this is a fun time. End of the year. It's coming down to the last. You know, we got some big games coming up. Obviously, we got a lot to talk about.
All right, we're 10 games in for most teams into the regular season. After 10 games of digestion, where are you on parity in college football?
I think where we don't have parity when we're talking top to bottom because of what's going on, and there's going to be some things even I've just found out recently. I'm going to share with you guys that maybe you've heard. Yeah,
breaking news on the show.
This was this morning, literally. So
wow.
But I think like the SEC. You know, just if you just said, I'm just going to watch SEC football, I mean, it'd be hard to get much better than that, right? They got 1s and 2s and 3s and the depth and all those things, and they're playing great games every week. So just from watching that, now if you're a traditionalist who loved the competition and the smaller guys beating the bigger guys some, and, you know, we've lost a lot of that, to be honest.
Has parity helped? This is kind of a broad question, but has parity helped the haves or the have-nots more? Or NIL, I should say, in the transfer portal. Has it helped the haves or the have-nots more since its inception?
Oh, haves. Absolutely. I mean, you know, now teams that were maybe thought about twice about pushing the envelope in a recruiting scenario, right, about how should we this money or somebody's getting paid, however they're getting paid. Now there's nothing illegal. And so it's the Indianas of the world, those guys say, and they see a number. There's a number to shoot for. If we just had X amount, we can go get these guys. And kids are not saying, I'm going to stay close to home, which is more football in the South, better football in the South. Pay me Oregon, pay me Indiana, here I come. Now, we know, they've done other things. They've got guys that transferred in, maybe from their old school, but teams now can go grab those guys, and they're a lot easier to find. And they're not getting them out of high school who want to stay close to home proximity.
And you know that you can always come back.
That's it.
I think that's the way a lot of them look at it.
Yep.
I'll go up here for a year, hit a payday, and maybe I'll get back down south next season.
We lived that even at UAB back in the day where a guy'd go off to an Arizona or wherever, and, but that ended up being a good thing for us. Come and get guys to return, had to sit at that time unless they were a senior. So, that's been going on for years. It's just the way it's happening right now. But, yeah, the parity up top is different. It's better football because they've taken the next guy and moved him into those spots. Really created a huge difference, though, as we go to the bottom.
On Monday's show, you joined us, and we were talking about Brent Venables, someone that you think very highly of defensively, head coach of Oklahoma, had a great game plan against Alabama, which that does not surprise any of us. But when you go back and you look at what they did well, what they did to make Alabama make those turnovers, what did you see defensively for Oklahoma?
Well, I'm going to give you three things. One, I think we've talked about ball security, and there was a great shot of Love, the running back, Notre Dame. And I don't know if you guys got to see it. We used to talk about Eagle Claw back in the day, right? If I wish I should have had a football here, but we talked about Eagle Claw. The ball is here. We used to try and take the ball away from the arm, right? We'd grab a thumb, and this was a big drill for us. Remember what I'm saying? The difference between a turnover and a takeaway, right? A turnover is a gift. Takeaway, we took the ball from you. What have we seen now? The peanut punch. The punch that is being coached. Now, if I'm on offense, now I'm having to go in here and arm bar. I'm now not out here. And I was never there. I was here. Now I'm across the body with a lock. That's if I'm in traffic. Christian McCaffrey, if you watched him run, he does it all the time, right? The problem is when you don't see it coming, and that's what's giving defenses, defense needs a chance. So you saw a lot of punch outs, right, in that game, which is taught, it's coached, it's worked on. Give them credit for that. We talked about the three safety look, inviting Alabama to run the ball, using that middle safety as a cheater, which a lot of people are doing. Well, I'm looking at sometimes even a 4-man box or a 5-man box against a tight end, but here comes the safety, talking them into running the ball. Once again, and I had this question asked to me today, once again, same question you asked, why can Alabama not run the ball? We talked about this last week. There's a difference between putting service into it by running the ball, and then they're saying, we're going to run whatever we got to do. But give Oklahoma credit. 3 safety look. And then they attack protection, third thing. How many times did you see a running back get caught against the rusher they wanted to rush and the running back losing that matchup? Now, as a defensive coach, first thing I said, if a running back blocks you, we got a problem. Now, to say that and to do it, so they got the matchup they wanted by the way they attacked the protection. And you'd see that send it, here comes the tackle, here comes the star, the nickel, whoever that was, this big nickel coming in there on a running back. Multiple times they defeated that block. So that was a good scheme.
What did you see from Ty Simpson, especially in the late stages of that game, that final drive specifically?
Yeah, I think they didn't panic. I mean, somebody would question, did they hurry enough? I think there was just some plays in there. Once again, I always kind of come from the other side. I thought Oklahoma made some really good plays. Where they had hugged the coverage up. They were going to make them throw it short. They did not give them the explosive plays down the field, and that's what happened to them. Even on the last drive, went back there with a 3 safety look and said, you've got to work the ball down the field. We're not going to give you one deep. We're not going to give you the deep digs. And then they were there to rally and get a lot of the balls. That weren't terrible throws. They were just there to get it out and made them work it all day. And I think that – because what does that do? Then you got to run the ball. And that's not their strength.
I want to ask you about Ryan Williams because we take this question a lot from callers to our show. And they ask us, it just looks like Ryan Williams doesn't want to get hit.
Yeah.
Even after that fumble, it seemed like every time he caught the ball, he immediately went to the ground. Yeah. Like he did not want to take the hit, or maybe he was thinking, I don't want to risk another fumble. What are you seeing from him as a wide receiver? And is it safe to say that he is a little bit concerned about taking one of those hits?
Well, first, this was said early on. I thought this was a good observation. He's used to playing in the perimeter. He's the outside receiver. He's the vertical guy. Now, what happens when you move somebody into the slot? Now, they moved him back, if you've noticed that. In the slot that guy's going to take some shots. It's a physical position. It's a catch it. You got to make a move, all those things. So I think there's a reason they moved him back outside. I don't think that's the game that he grew up playing. I think it's different for him. Ball security has been an issue. I think there's no doubt he's talented. I think he's made some really good plays. I'm not saying he's scared, but it could be. I mean, you turn the ball over in a game, that's going to make you gun shy. I don't think he's an inside guy. I don't know how much he loves the contact. So, and he grew up playing outside, and I think you see it when it comes down to those things.
If you're Kalen DeBoer, just assume that you are Kalen DeBoer. You're taking over right now, but I want to go Bill Clark mentality. What are you telling your football team? Because they know what's on the line. Yeah. They watch the college football playoff rankings. They realize probably another loss that's not good.
Yeah.
Are you playing this as all right, we're going to handle our business this week, but guys, it's do or die against Auburn? What are you telling your team?
Absolutely. It's do or die. It's do or die. I mean,
so you're telling the players that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Say what you want. And I'm a break it down champs.
Yeah.
Versus, man, we're going to be all right. We're going to be. No, there's times for that. The great news here, this is playoff football. You are in a playoff for the national championship, state championship, whatever you want to call it. And let me tell you, this is a really good team who has found a way to lose maybe, but now they're doing something different. Look what they did in this last game against, and they're all going to respect Vanderbilt. They beat them the year before. They gave them a good game this year. They know Texas A&M. They know these games that they've been in and could have, should have won. They just saw Oklahoma beat them, and Auburn had every chance to beat Oklahoma. So I don't think that's going to be a case. You're going to play them in Jordan-Hare, which is a whole different deal. It's going to take everything we got. So that's what I'm saying. I'm getting them ready for that game. We cannot overlook this game, but the season is on the line. Now, that's kind of a fun place to be, in my opinion, because you're going to get total focus. And how many games do I have to get up for? I got to get up for this game, right? And that's, to me as a coach, why I love the playoffs was just these things we're talking about. It's everything. I don't have to pretend. I don't have to make it up. I'm not worried about the next one. I'm worried about this game. And that, and that's kind of what we got into the bowl game. It's all right here.
Well, it is fortunate that Alabama has got another game before the Iron Bowl because you got to try to get that taste out of your mouth, right, so to speak, after the Oklahoma game. So take us in the mindset of playing an Eastern Illinois team that's really not even a good FCS program. How do you go into that game? How do you prepare? How much are you looking ahead to Auburn? I know he's got a million offensive and defensive analysts that can break stuff down, but from a head coaching standpoint, how do you attack Eastern Illinois knowing what you've got ahead?
Yeah, you do two things. One, you make corrections. So this is a fundamental week. Anything we weren't doing fundamentally, blitz pickup, running the ball, whatever that is, getting to the backups, getting to the other guy. I mean, this is just we got to get through this game. Hopefully no injuries, and we're there working on Auburn. I mean, you don't say that many times, but this is one of those. This isn't New Mexico State. This is not, you take a chance here and you work on fundamentals and you get ready for the next week because they already gained a week on you. They just had the last week where they did nothing but work on Alabama.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Now with the weather, and the weather's turning, we're going to get, it looks like right now, a pretty cold night in Auburn, Alabama.
Right.
People think, oh, that's crazy. It's football. They play. But it does change some things as far as how you're running your program and different things, maybe with the kicking game. How does that work? Explain that.
I think it's kind of a preparation, a mindset, what do we do that week? As long as it's not raining and cold, you're probably going to be okay. But it's just part of it, and that's kind of part of the game. I think any factor from a weather standpoint I'm wanting to be part of, I want to know, I want to be prepared for, You got heat this week and it cools off next week. You'll probably try and get out in that some just for cold ball. But the one good thing about football is, from playing it, it warms up pretty quickly if you're playing.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's now wind. Yes. What is that wind going to look like? And that's kind of hard to prepare for, but you have a plan.
One thing about having a plan, if you have a plan with your financial services, Smart Bank would be a great place to start.
Yeah, I think we've talked every week about the people there. Some good points recently, and I'm hearing this from other customers, is Smart Bank having a plan for all the different parts of, whether you're talking about home, car, any of those issues that you're looking for. Business, they do a lot of different things with business, but good people, they're going to know who you are when you come into the bank, Smart Bank.
Coach, the college football playoff rankings came out earlier this week. Alabama falls from number 4 to number 10. An interesting scenario is developing because Alabama having those 4 ranked wins in the middle of the season, granted they've got the 2 losses now, but if you're a coach and you're Kalen DeBoer, I'm going to put you in his shoes for a moment. Do you look at that stuff right now, or are you just so consumed with your final 2 regular season games that's in the rearview mirror? You're not even paying attention to that.
No, you're paying attention to it. I mean, because you're judged on playoffs, getting in the playoff. I mean, and when they put you 10 and there's a chance BYU upsets Texas Tech, I mean, this committee is about to, and I'm sure they're good people. I was talking to a good friend of mine who knows this whole world just at lunch today. That it was a good article on ESPN that came out about it. I'm sure y'all read it, but it's correct. When you got to put strength of schedule in there, you just got to. I mean, and we start talking about some of these other teams that have not beaten, they're beating their last 5 opponents for, not a winning record, Indiana, So you got to factor that in. Now, undefeated is undefeated, and it just is what it is. But I think there is a way to rank them, and you got to factor in strength of the schedule.
When Hunter Yurachek throws out, though, Alabama, one of the demerits or the checks against them is their lack of running game, and he points that out.
Yeah.
Are you like most coaches that we hear from the day after and trying to just make sense of what these football people are saying?
Yeah, you're always trying to justify why you make a ranking or why you do whatever you do. You got to go to schedule. It's just like Miami with Notre Dame.
Is it impossible, John? It
is impossible because you've still got to factor in wins and losses. So there's a number, and we can say the SEC has got all these things going for it, but what do you do when it's a loss? How do you somewhere in there should be some strength of schedule. That's got to be factored in, but it is a tough job.
All right, I'm going to put you in a difficult situation here, but that's what I love to do with you. I'm going to put you in the committee room, and you have a conversation. Let's just say a team is 10-2 in the regular season, and they've made it to their conference championship game, but they get blown out. And this is a Power 4 team. Mm-hmm. What would be your opinion in that room of that team that made it through the regular season, one of the toughest leagues in all of college football, got to the championship game, but laid a big old goose egg in that game? How would you view that team moving forward?
Yeah, I would I would want to take that out of it because it's an extra game. I didn't hold anybody else accountable for any of those other games. So when it's extra, and they should not be. They should not be held accountable.
So
for
you
one
would
game.
view that extra game something? Would you view it the same way if they blew somebody out in
I
that
would.
extra game?
Absolutely.
So if they blow them out, you would give them credit. But if they
I would try and do the same.
Oh, same
That's right.
as a blowout.
That's
Okay,
it.
I got you.
Either way, it's an extra game.
Okay.
You shouldn't get rewarded. If I'm not going to harm them for the loss, I can't reward them for the win. Doesn't mean you're not human, and there's a human factor I think in there. But I just think an extra game because it's not what you're holding everybody else to the same account.
Eye test. You watch a lot of football, not just in the SEC, but around college football. So far, eye test. If you had to pick one team who has looked the best when you've seen them play, and you said, "Wow, that might be the best team in the country," who is it?
I would have picked Texas A&M before last week, but you got up to half. And then you're like, that's the team. Because we know South Carolina's got a good team. Maybe not a great team, but a good team. What have they done against the people they've done it against? That's what sets them apart. They're one. I think they're one. I think Ohio State's two. And I think Ohio State, based on strength of schedule. I mean, what else can you go on? So I think it's Texas A&M to me is the best team body of work throughout the year. And give them credit, guts and resolve, and not finding a way to win last week. So, which is what it's all about.
Right.
Who finds a way to do it in the end? So then they found heart that maybe you didn't know if they had, and you saw it. Wow. Okay, that's my best team.
Speaking of the college football playoff, a radical proposal was heard this week in Charlotte, North Carolina, by all the commissioners. The Big Ten, once again, they're beating the drum for more playoff teams. They put together a presentation of 24 teams for a potential college football playoff. We've got until December 1st to let ESPN know what is going on moving forward. Now, you could get an extension. It could be the same next year as 12 teams. But your thoughts as a coach, more the merrier. Where's your happy spot in regards to the number of teams in the CFP?
I think it's in a good spot.
12.
I do. I think it's in a good spot. I think it makes the regular season games important. I think we're going to start watering down. I like chances. I like opportunity for people. That's why I'm glad, we got the non-power four with at least a shot, even though financially we may not have a shot anymore, but we still got a shot. I think it's a good number. Let's leave it for a little while and let's see how it goes.
How much when we get to the college football playoff, because we saw Ohio State, we saw their final game of the season. They lose the rivalry game to Michigan.
Yeah.
Then they go and they thump Tennessee in a big-time way.
Yeah.
How much do you think that impacts having that extra time for some of these teams based on the grind that we see during the regular season?
There's so many factors. There's an injured guy. There's a guy coming back. There's a depth. It's amazing what time will do. And it's amazing how some people don't know how to handle time and some people do know how to handle time. From a guy who had to learn in the bowl game, and I'll just give examples. I had the playoff down pretty good from being a high school coach who lived in it at really the highest level, playing, Hoover as a national team, us as a national team, that we're rarefied air of high school football, and you learn how to compete in playoffs. So I go to Jack State. I know that world. And so it's, I was telling the story the other day, they got to want to keep playing. That type mentality. 17, we were happy to be there. We were so happy. My God, we made a bowl game from no program. We're going to the Bahamas. And I did not work them hard enough. Now, I didn't make that mistake again. And I heard that from a lot of coaches, like, Gene Stallings gets blown out. If you remember, Louisville blows them out. And you just start going, hey, guys, sorry, we've done nothing. This is, this is a bowl game, and I'm going to work the dog out of it, and we're going to go win this bowl game. And that's what it looks like. I mean, now there's got to be some things, and we can have some fun, don't get me wrong. But I think understanding what time off does, getting people healed, there's so many factors that goes with that. Or Ohio State, who just got embarrassed, got something to prove. I don't know. There's so many things that go into the psyche.
Speaking of psyche, Webb Concrete and Building Services Supplies, man, they do a great job. Great sponsor here at Three Man Front. to Bill Clark show.
But we welcome them on
Yeah,
3
We
Man
do
Front.
like 3 Man Front as well.
Come on.
Thanks, Phil.
All right. So, yeah, our friends at Webb Concrete Building Supplies, all the supplies you need building a house, a business, used to be just in concrete, and they do it all. Flooring, obviously. We've got locations all over the place, Center, Birmingham, Pell City, which my son Jacob works at. So if you need some flooring, call Jacob.
Coach, another big story this week. Lane Kiffin holding Ole Miss hostage, it appears, whether it's going to be whether it's Florida or it's going to be LSU. As a coach, I mean, I know you would never do this, but Lane is being Lane and loves the drama. Just from a coaching standpoint, how do you envision this all working out between him and Ole Miss?
You know, I think what happened, we've seen the evolution, and I'm not saying Lane has, but we've seen the evolution that it is really, I'm sure in their minds, total business. I am a loss away from being hated. I'm 3 losses away from being fired. I don't care who you are. You know, so I think we've now, and this is what I kept saying, this is the crap that was going to happen. First year with NIL, we had loyalty, and we're losing that, right? And now it's just, I think it's just business across the board with these guys, and he's playing it for all it's worth. The problem would be, though, the guys on your roster. Now, I know, having not done it in a few years and probably seen that, where they really now feel like, okay, these guys are getting theirs. Everybody's just getting theirs, but they're still your team, you know? And that's the stuff I don't like, is even though I want you as a coach to protect yourself, you got to get what you can get when you can to a degree. You still got a team. And so anything that would take away from that, I couldn't stand doing. And, you know, and you've had a great year. You're in a championship type run, but you do have to look at your future. So, I mean, I can see that part of it, but it's just doing something that would hurt your team right now. I can't stand the
Well, Coach, you've already told us, because you said that while you were a head coach, if there were ever overtures about you potentially leaving for another job, you said, I'm not going to your campus. I'm not going to interview with you, because what am I supposed to do when I come back to my team, my staff, my administration, my fan base? Right. How does that make me look? And I totally agree with you. And I think a lot of people do. Lane Kiffin didn't go interview, and he said, I haven't talked to anybody, but you have family members that you know are being spotted in Gainesville, getting on a plane and going to Baton Rouge.
Yep.
Is that not even worse?
You know, I put yourself in their mind and think, okay, does this help my negotiation? Is this a leverage deal for where he's at? You know, I think that's the question for the guys. Is this just the price of doing business in this world we're in, of high dollar players, super pressure, tons of money, people trying to cut you out of your contract, and you just say, okay, mine would be the optics to my team. That's the question I have all along, my optics to my team. I'm sure they feel like, well, if I lose, my fans are going to hate me, so I got to do what I got to do. I don't know. It's a different mindset for me. NIL was new for me, even though I'm for the players getting paid. I want rules and regulations, but I can see that of the world of pressure and demand and players getting money, that it's become more of a business, and that makes sense.
In regards to the players, yeah, I'm gonna play devil's advocate just for a minute. I mean, I've dogged Lane Kiffin enough on the radio this week, but I want to take the end of a player, because the players can come and go now as they please. And granted, coaches, their loyalty is basically through their next paycheck. Sorry, Coach, that's my opinion, not yours. But nowadays, do you think the players really think about whether their coach is going to be there or not? Because in the old days, you're sitting there thinking, okay, well, I can't transfer because I'm going to have to sit out a year.
Right.
So I'm going to be in this so-called pipeline on this roster. That would matter if a coach is going to be there or not. But now,
my point exactly.
Yeah.
My point exactly. They're so different. They came for the money. Mm-hmm. Not every one of them, but
the majority of
them.
The
majority now.
Yeah.
It's a money decision. Okay. He's making a money decision. And that's where we've gotten. I mean, so it's become such a business that, and maybe he just understood that I got a business relationship with these players. I'm their coach, but it's more about business for them. It's more about business for me. I hate it. because that's not what any of us were brought up on. All the things that we loved about it, but I see where they're coming from. And this is what I explain to people when I say, I'm not defending Brian Kelly or whoever. What I am defending, if a contract is signed, just like, if you break your contract with them, you're going to lose. You're going to pay a penalty. You want to get a guy to leave and come and do the things, just be prepared to pay him if you change your mind.
Yeah, and the schedule that we have now, it makes it so tough.
Yeah.
With the transfer portal,
Yep.
with the early signing,
Yep.
with all of that. Used to, back in the good old days before any of that existed, you could afford to wait until January
Yeah.
to hire a coach.
Right.
You still had the February signing day
Right.
that was coming up, and you had to time to kind of assemble your staff, get out there, make some inroads, get some guys back that
Yeah.
maybe had decommitted. Can't do that anymore.
Right.
And so now if you have a coach and him telling you, hey, I'm just focused on my football team, I appreciate my time here, but I just want to focus on football. Can you really afford these days with the mass amounts of money that, by the way, you've gone out and you've asked your fan base,
Absolutely.
give us all you got, go in the couch cushions, give us all
Yeah.
you got, and everybody's behind lane, and let's do it for the SIP. And then you wait around, and then all of a sudden he does exactly what you were afraid he was going to
Yep.
do. And you're looking around, call John Summerall. Well, John Summerall's been at Auburn for 2 months now. What do you do?
Right. Yeah, it is. This has begat that. And I think as we tried to say, this is what's coming, here it is, Now, we love it. We still love the games. We love all the things, the competition and stuff, but that is the part that I hated and I worried about. And now we're seeing from both sides of the fence what it looks like.
One thing you don't have to worry about is your vehicle. Always looking good when you come in here at Cumulus Media.
Yes, I think that's something I take a lot of pride in. But obviously, our friends at Donahue, we've talked about the great deals they got going. I always come back to the people, and that's what I like to deal with is great people. But tons of deals going on. DonahueChevrolet.com. Landrum.
That's right, Coach. Coach drives the Tahoe, but you can get one of those Silverado HD 1500 2026
HD.
and the MSRP. They're going to knock off at least $9,000 of that thing. That's ridiculous.
Good people with ridiculous deals.
Great people with even more ridiculous deals. DonahueChevrolet.com.
Coach, you spend so much time during the week, not only watching football and talking with us each and every week on this show, but Coach Safely. Obviously, you run Coach Safely. I know you guys are really busy right now across the country with some of the things that you guys are trying to do.
Yeah, so just really proud of what's going on with Coach Safely. Obviously, we passed the first law here. We've got resolutions in Georgia and Louisiana. We got another law in Arkansas. We're really trying to take this across the country. There's tons of material coming out about playing multiple sports, keeping your kids safe. I think the more we can do with that, so kids will keep playing, will stay safe. All the things we believe in sports. That's what it's about. We want our faces safety, keeping our kids safe. First law in the country was right here in Alabama.
And obviously the ultimate goal is nationwide.
That's it. We're heading toward nationwide. We're getting it out. Got PSAs from Kirby Smart, Brent Key. The list will go on and on as we get it out. Alabama was first. Love us leading the way.
Absolutely. Also want to thank Jimmy Lee and the great people at Buffalo Rock and Dr. Pepper. They've been a great sponsor of this program from day one. We're going to continue on for many years to come on this program. But Jimmy Lee, so much for the college game and also just the local community.
Yeah, he's so involved. He's a Buffalo Rocks at Trustful. But he supports all the colleges, local, it's Alabama, Auburn, UAB. Great philanthropic company. I said that very easily. Buffalo Rock, Dr. Pepper, we appreciate them.
That's a tough one.
Yes.
You mentioned Arkansas. Were you going to tell us who's getting the Arkansas job?
I'll tell you that next week.
All
Next-
right.
oh,
There's
you
a
tease.
great teaser. Look
You
at
tease
you.
for you.
Look
You're
at
learning
you.
this.
Two
I've
learned
seasons
how you guys
in.
work.
He's an old pro.
Yeah, he's teasing.
It's from moonlighting and doing all those other podcasts.
Hey, by the way, we've only got a couple seconds. Are you got? I know he will be, but are you on the APT Super 7 stuff again this
will
year?
be there.
Awesome.
Are we doing a game together?
Yeah.
We are? Cool.
I'm
didn't know that?
I'm sorry that me and Molly can't be a part of it.
Oh, I thought
Oh,
y'all
you
were.
can.
Well,
Too bad.
yeah.
Molly, we want you. No offense, Pat.
We tried. Me and Molly did everything we possibly could.
Partner, I always got a spot for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that very much. Thank you for tuning us in. It's been a great season. We're going to keep on rolling on this train. Hope you'll join us next week here on The Bill Clark Show, presented by Dr. Pepper, Buffalo Rock.
This has been the Bill Clark Show, presented by Dr. Pepper.